respect. The respect that I've gotten is what you've gotten too. I've been out places, and I mean, people think that I'm literally like royalty almost because I got a blazer on, or not just with the blazer, but well groomed, and I don't speak the Queen's English like in England, but I speak proper. So,
God damn, P, why the hell you be so hard, man?
I do have to ask you. Now, you said you never dressed hood. I'm pretty sure somewhere in your photo album, you are somewhere in high school wearing a do rag. Let's be honest.
No,
Never.
no,
Oh, okay.
right? Nah, look, man, I remember wearing my do rag back in the day, having my little, you take that do
Yeah.
rag off, you got that line across your
Yeah.
forehead.
Yeah.
But I did, I never went to school with it on, right? I'm 41, right? I
Okay.
graduated high school in '98.
Yeah.
I did not, I never wore one to school, right? It was never who I was.
Yeah.
It's not who I am. And I mean, for those who do, hey, do your thing. I ain't got no
Mm,
problem with it. But just wasn't me.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I know what it is to, go ahead, you brushing your hair in the morning, trying to
Yeah.
get that line up off your forehead. Yeah. I know.
Well, to piggyback off of what you said, I I used to dress. I'm from a nuclear family, but a very good family. But I in high school I did like the Tommy Hilfiger, the Jabot jeans.
Yeah.
I did used to rock some Timberlands, and it wasn't because I thought I was a street dude, because I certainly wasn't. I grew up in the suburbs. It was because I just liked the look, and I thought it was suitable to look like that as a teenager. And it wasn't until I got in college where I realized that I went to a PWI,
Uh,
and so the people were going to class with sweats on, etc. And so it wasn't until I pledged my first year in college. I pledged Alpha Phi Alpha, and you already know that alphas or alpha men are distinguished,
Mm-hmm.
or the men of distinction. So I had to literally change my attire completely. And at a PWI, you're talking about 20,000 kids on campus at one time, and less than 1% of them are dressed up. Whereas at Morehouse, I'm pretty sure, especially back in the day,
mhm.
more people were dressed up. So if it wasn't really for Alpha Phi Alpha, particularly, I probably would not have started that early with dressing good. And especially when I graduated, I was able to afford, you know, to get items tailored, etc. But I do get the allure of dressing hood. It's easy to put on some jeans. It's easy to put on some Timbs, but you don't get that same respect. The respect that I've gotten is what you've gotten too. I've been out places, and I mean, people think that I'm literally like royalty almost because I got a blazer on, or not just with the blazer, but well groomed, and I don't speak the Queen's English like in England, but I speak proper. So where I try to speak as proper as possible. So you are right. You are, and there are benefits to it.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
bring this in too. Is that I remember when I first started doing my podcast, or doing these videos and stuff. I was on Instagram, and one of my first videos I was in a suit. When I did that video, I shared it with somebody, and they said, "You know what? How about you don't wear the suit?" And then I was like, "Okay, why is that?" I thought I looked pretty good. I got a haircut and everything. I was looking pretty good. Got my suit on and stuff like that, like I do now. And then they said, "Oh, well, you know what? It's because you won't be relatable to your audience. How about you build your audience first, wearing whatever, and then you can wear your suit, on special occasions or something like that." Now,
Hmm.
I thought this was weird. I was like, like, I want to look nice. You know what I mean? Like, I wore a suit because I like wearing suits. but also because I want to have a specific presentation when it comes to my videos. What do
Yeah.
you guys think about that? Do you think that people look at you as you're not relatable when you are wearing a suit?
Um, I and thank you for allowing me to take this question.
Mhm.
I am a strong proponent. I have my own podcast, and I have people from all walks of life, and I receive emails, DMs from the hoodest of the hood dudes saying, "Man, not only do you inspire me, my children watch you, and they are inspired to dress like you, speak like you, etc." I think it is our duty as I would want to say kindred intellects to do that. I mean, a lot of people are watching black men on YouTube as content creators, and I think it's beautiful that Kevin Samuels, Bernard Riley, the list goes on. Myself,
Right.
so many black men are wearing this attire because going back to what I said earlier, the people who are not wearing this, they even recognize it as a symbol of a status symbol, and they're more likely to watch you because you're wearing this, in my opinion. Because again, we all want to, deep down inside, we all really want to look like the kings and queens and talk like the kings and queens, and if we can represent that, 99.99999% of human beings born will never be the president of the United States of America. But if I can look like the president, or if I can look like a C-suite executive or a CEO, then people will look at me and say, wow, he is representing what they are. And he speaks like them. And people have told me, man. I mean, I'm talking about some hood dudes have told me this.
Yeah, no, you know what? All right. Before I joined, right before I cammed up, me and my girl, she was like, and I was like, no, I'm about to put a suit on. And she's like, no, you shouldn't put a suit on right now. I'm like, I'm going to chill myself right now. Listen, as we have this conversation. But yeah,
I know the
a
feeling.
suit, yeah, a suit does do it for us, right?
Yeah.
And we should, right? So like, it's like I've got a ton of content on my channel, but I've never was in a suit for it. And now I'm like, nah, from now, because I'm waiting for my real mic to get here tomorrow. But yeah, every one of my videos from now on, like especially when I go live, will be in a suit, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, because we should set a standard for ourselves. Like first and foremost, we set the standard for ourselves as content creators, and then we set the standard, but then we also push the bar that much higher, right? So if you really want to get on, man, let's make sure we have a standard for ourselves, for everybody that's in the space, and so we can all grow, we can all get better. Make sure your sound quality is there, your appearance is right, the whole your audio is great. All that plays a part into how people are going to receive us. And Kevin Samuels, right, or Saint Kevin, has set this. He set the bar, right?
Yeah.
And I really really like it. I'm like, that's dope, this man, because
Yeah.
I went and looked at his a lot of his older content, and you can see where he came from. Like it was super nerdy, right? It was compared to where he is today, man, just leaps
the bow
and
tie.
bounds.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. You saw like his first, second, and third video when he was counting and shit. I was like, it's go for it. Yeah. It's
no. I'm sorry, I cut you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. It's it's actually amazing to see where someone has come from, right? And you see the progression to where they are today. And I like how he's kept all of his older content up, so people can't say, oh, he's this or he's that. Go back and listen to it. But like the aesthetics of it, the production value has just gone through the roof, and it's a strong reason, I believe, where he is not just the content itself, but the production of how he's produced it. It's a beautiful thing. And we can all take a page from that, right? And implement it in our content, like I said, for at least from the appearance aspect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I see that Titanium wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as being relatable and what you wear, you want to wear the suit because you want to keep in mind your appearance, because the goal is you want people that look upon you to want to kind of like be where you are, because essentially, you being a content creator, you are in a sense indirectly mentoring people. So people may just like join your show and never say a word in the chat, and they just want to listen to what you say. But they look at you and they kind of want to be you. And then once they hear you speak, now this is where the relatability comes in. You speak to them in a language that they can understand. That's relatable to where they are. I kind of look at it as, every time I go to an interview, a lot of recruiters that I come across, they're really not technical. And so they're just reading off on a sheet of paper what the hiring manager wants. And so every once in a while, a recruiter will ask, what something is. And so what I would do is I would kind of, not only break it down in layman terms, but kind of relate it to their field. Because, what I do I kind of work with a lot of HR people. So I try to relate it to their field. And so that kind of gives them the relatability aspect, your verbal communication. But as far as your appearance, you want people to you want them to, in a sense, be like you.
Agreed. I used to teach many years ago. I taught special education, and I also taught few mathematics and science courses at charter schools, but I was primarily in both public and private. And a lot of students would ask me, well, Mr. Chaotic, well, what about, not Jeff Bezos, what about Mark Zuckerberg? He wears jeans and sandals to his board meetings, I was like, yeah, he does. He founded the company. He found the company. That's what you guys have to realize. He beat the final boss in the video game, if that makes a good analogy. He doesn't have to wear a suit. Facebook is his. Yeah, I'm right now, he obviously answers to his board of directors, but he owns a large stake in that company. And I told him, I said, until you beat the video game like he has, then you do need to look like, whatever company you work for, you do need to look like that CEO. You can't come in there eccentric. Yeah, we're all a little eccentric. I'm eccentric, I think. But yeah, you can't walk into Goldman Sachs wearing sandals. So that's something I have to deal with as being an educator, but I digress.
God damn, P, why the hell y'all be so hard, man?
This is me. This is who I was before the billions. Before I made the money.